Hello and welcome everyone again to another video. Today's video will talk about the best teams in the Open Great League in the new season. My name is Yasser Ali. I'm a Twitch streamer if you are new to the channel, and every league rotation I just feature a bunch of good teams that we talk about and we recommend for you to use. Usually these teams are extremely good in every meta. Like as an example, now we have two leagues, so I'm gonna do one about Great League, one about the other league, and next week we will have two leagues, so I will do a video about every one of them. And then after, you will see me doing posting a bunch of content about like the Open Great League as an example. So today, since the Great League hasn't started, but the new season is about to start, so I'm already preparing you for the new season. So how does the new meta look like? Like this? Oh yeah, so this is so messed up. Well, let's take a look at PvPoke. PvPoke says Mandibuzz right now is the #1 Pokemon, and that's because the drop to Corsola, because Corsola is kind of nerfed technically. The rollout is nerfed, so Dusclops like is going to be featured less, and we have stuff like Lapras, we have stuff like the pig, Grumping, or the Grumpig. We have stuff like Dusclops, Dragonair, because like it's not like a big changes to the meta, but they nerfed Corsola heavily, and they gave Grumpig and Lapras two big moves. Psywave is technically the best one turn fast move right now. Some people might say Dragon Breath is still better, but to be honest, I would rather do more, generate more energy than doing one more damage, because Psywave is just extremely good, especially when on Pokemons that have good moves like Lapras. Now have Sparkling Era, or whatever that move is. You have Ice Beam, you have Skull Bash like Malamar, superpowered Foul Play, and more importantly, Foul Play is a good move now. It's like a 40 energy move. And what's more important than Malamar is actually Sableye. Sableye is back. By the way, before you go and power up your Sableye, I made a video about deep dive IV into the Sableye, so I will link it probably at the end of the video. Maybe you guys need to watch it, because now you actually need to invest again in Sableye, because the downside for Sableye last season that it lose to Feraligatr. Now it goes on the same pacing, which is 5-5-5, because it's going to be 40, so it's always 5 Shadow Claws. So if the Gator swap into you, you beat the Gator. Where like before, even if the Gator swap into you, the Gator can still win, because it's 5-5, 5 fast move, then 5 fast move for the Gator, while it's 6 and 6 for the Sableye, which is kind of bad for the Sableye, but it's no longer the case. I said it in the past, Sableye need to get a 40 energy move, and they actually give it to Sableye. So people who watch my content and invest in the Pokemon that I always recommend, trust me, those are like the biggest winners, because I always try to make content around the stuff that I recommend. So by watching my videos, you will invest in stuff that will always be good. Even if they get nerfed, they usually get buffed again, because I always recommend Pokemons that are supposed to be PvP Pokemons. Like Cresselia, it's never a raid Pokemon, right? So it's a PvP Pokemon. So lots of new cool stuff, and I tried to add a new format of the new teams. It's like we have, you know, like one team. Now it's going to be like this. I'm going to feature a Pokemon, and I'm going to recommend two teams. So it's kind of like, you know, we're adding something new. So please let me know whether you like it or not. So I would say that the Drapion is still amazing, is still a top meta Pokemon. Why? Because they buffed the Grumpig, and Lapras, and those two have Psywave, which is a psychic fast move, and Drapion resists that. So that's kind of a food for the Drapion. And that means those two are like a hard counter to Diggersby, so we will see less Diggersby. Those two also beat Kanto Marowak, so if we see less Kanto Marowak, you know, that means more Drapion, because Drapion already is the best Pokemon. What about Anihilape? Anihilape was being the strongest Pokemon in the meta, but now with the Psywaves, everything has Psywave. It's no longer as viable as it used to be, but it's still decent. It's still great of a Pokemon. I think Primeape is still usable. I have like my opinions on Primeape, because it just doesn't live enough moves. So these are like kind of like the Pokemons that I always recommend. You know, like anything here is good, but there is like a, you know, like the smaller circuit of a circle of Pokemons that I always recommend to use at least one. 2 is better from these lists. You know, like I just summarized, or like grabbed like I don't know 4, 8, 11 Pokemons from the Great League meta. I'm like, okay, use those. Those are like the ones you're supposed to use. Primeape, according to PvPoke, Anihilape, sorry, is the best Pokemon. That's because it's just like insane fast move pressure. And it must be Shadow, by the way. Universe Stunfisk, dude. I made a video last season. It was like, you guys need to buff these Pokemons, and one of the Pokemons that we talked about is Universe Stunfisk, and they actually gave it 2 buff. They buffed Thunder Shock, and now they made Discharge an actual move. Discharge was like below average move. Now it's going to be a good move. I'm expecting it to be like a Mud Bomb clone. Well, like, Mud Bomb is a great move. It's just like the problem was Discharge. So if you need to use Discharge, you're just in a bad situation. Like, you would lose to Azu because Discharge is a bad move, you know? You would lose to Dugong because Discharge is a bad move. Now it's supposed to be a better move. Corviknight, I don't think Corviknight is good, but Corviknight is like, it's like a licky tongue. You just either soft win or soft lose. The problem is some matchups you just heavily lose, like Talonflame. You just have no play against the Flyets because you have to run Sand Attack. Diggersby is a beast. Like, they did not touch a Scorching Sand. Corsola is not as good as it was. I think Corsola is kind of not the best Astonish user. I would say Drifloon now is the best Astonish user. And you know, like, you guys know that they buffed Jellicent. So technically, don't sleep on Jellicent. It's actually good, especially in Ultra. It's going to be a beast. Drapion is just an amazing... It's an amazing Pokemon. So use Drapion. So, first and foremost, we get to talk about Drapion, sorry, Anihilape, Shadow Anihilape, and the best 2 teams I can come up with for the next season is Anihilape. So this is the new format. We have the featured Pokemon and 2 teams. You either go top row or like bottom row. Are you a tap? Do you just want to tap your screen? You just run Anihilape with Wiggly and Jelly. What does Jelly do? It's kind of like good against the Psywave Pokemons. Well, I mean, it loses to Malamar technically, but it beat Grumpig, and it's good against Lapras. Hey, it destroys Lapras. Or you can go the top route, which is usually the top row is like more of like a fast move pressure. More of like a balanced team. The lower one is usually like in the teams, as you can see, is more like less skill dependent, more skill dependent. Think of it that way. That's like how I have those teams. So I think this is like kind of like a soft team because you have 2 Pokemons that are like kind of like hit hard, die fast. Well, I wouldn't say Primeape is a Squishy, but like Morpeko is definitely a Squishy Pokemon. So if you want to use Morpeko, I wouldn't use the Shadow. Like, that's like just a personal preference. Now, Corviknight. Corviknight is, according to PvPoke, the second best Pokemon. And Corviknight is a Pokemon that loves to be paired with dark Pokemon. So any 2 dark, like usually when you run Corviknight, just run it with 2 dark Pokemons. Because Corviknight is capable of throwing, of beating Azu. But you need to know how to play the matchups. I think you have to do like 2 Sky Attack and Iron Head, or 1 Sky Attack and 2 Iron Heads. I am not sure how to play that matchup. I don't play Corviknight because I'm still salty that they took Drill Pick from it. But if I have to use Corviknight, I will actually pair it with Goodra and Mandibuzz. Why Goodra and Mandibuzz? I mean, Mandibuzz is the best Pokemon, and I like the combo with Corviknight and Goodra. It used to be a core with Skarmory, but it's no longer the case. Now, moving into the Lapras, the Pokemon that got the biggest buff in the season. So now Lapras has Psywave, Sparkling Area, and Ice Beam. Sparkling Area is a new move. Remember, guys, when we got Primarina Community Day and they gave it to Sparkling Area, and I was like, guys, Sparkling Area is just a bad move comparing to Hydro Cannon. And I was like, they literally gave it to Primarina because they want to give it to Lapras. And I was right. Hey, we got it on Lapras. See, guys? So, again, if you watch my videos, you would know what to invest in and what to save. And I think this is actually a good combo. Like, pairing Lapras with Universe Stunfisk is such a great combo. And you have to pair it with Wiggly. Why? Because if you run Psywave Lapras, that means you lose to all the dark Pokemon, so you need an anti-dark. And nothing loves to see a dark Pokemon more than Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff just loves to see all these dark type Pokemons. You can also go the Superior and Clodsire route. So again, It's more like it requires some skills, requires just to tap your screen. And speaking of Mandibuzz, Mandibuzz is kind of the queen or the king of the new meta. Mandibuzz is just so freaking good in the current meta. That's because like they nerfed the rollout slightly. It does 1 less damage now. So, I mean, the main reason Mandibuzz is good is just because of the stats. And now Foul Play, technically you run Foul Play and Foul Play get buffed. That's number 2. And number 3, you have Aerial Ace, which is a cheap move. But the main reason is that Mandibuzz is good because it's the only good flyer, and so many teams disrespect the flyers, so that's why Mandibuzz is good. So if you run on Mandibuzz, you have to pair it with an anti-ice Pokemon, and that's Universe Stunfisk. And Grumping is like kind of, you know, like, I can't run a boring team. We have to add some, you know, like some fun Pokemon. So that's why you see Grumpig here. Or Claydol. Nothing loves to get a buff more than Claydol. Claydol has been buffed like 20 times or so. Well, I mean, 20 might be exaggeration, but I am sure they buffed Mud Slap twice. They gave it Ice Beam. They gave it Scorching Sand. They gave it Earth Power. They gave it every charge move in the entire world. They gave it Mud Slap. So many moves they gave to this Pokemon to make it to top 20. Finally, it's in the top 20. That's all I can say. Now, another Psywave Pokemon, which is Malamar. So if you guys watch a streamer, his name is Pokemango. Pokemango loves to use Malamar. And there is another streamer, which is Hot Pocket, or like Pockets. Hot on Pockets. I don't know what's his Twitch name nowadays, because I think he changed his IGN. You guys know him. He's always playing on stream during these tournaments. They both love running Malamar, and that's because Malamar has such an insane capability of throwing fast move, pressuring with fast move, or a charge move. I know that Pocket loves to pair Malamar with Azu, but I don't have an Azu team. Hey, we can't run Azu. It's literally day 1. But Mango loves to pair it with a Drapion, because this thing kind of struggles against only one Pokemon, 2 Pokemons, the Fairies and the Jumpluff, and this is kind of good against both. Well, if you run superior version, then you're still weak to Jumpluff. But if you hate Jumpluff, I recommend using the bottom row team, which is Malamar with Clodsire and Credeli, because Credeli now learns rollout, so now it's gonna spam those Rock Slides after Rock Slide after Rock Slide, you know? It's actually a cool Pokemon. And now, my favorite Pokemon. If you guys watch my stream, you know how much I love Sableye. So, this is going to be one of the teams that I will try myself. Because I'm not a Sableye spammer. They call me superior Sableye spammer. I spam Sableye. If Sableye doesn't exist, I would have never hit Legend. I used to spam Sableye all the time. And when Sableye became bad, I was running A-Slash as like, you know, I miss Sableye with Shadow Claw, you know, Shadow Claw A-Slash, and then I was using the season after Shadow Claw Feraligatr as like, this is my new Sableye, but hey, my Sableye is back, so I am going to spam it. And the thing I would like to use Sableye with A-Slash and Credeli, what's the name of this? Bro, I literally forget what's the name. Claydol. So this is kind of my go-to team, but I think I would just run Azu here instead of Claydol. But as I said, there is no Azu teams today. Primeape Credeli Core is also a good one, because hey, Credeli is an anti-flyer. Now remember, it's a rollout user that beats the flyers. It's a grass that beats the flyers and the ice Pokemons, because like most of the damage comes from the rock typing damage. Now, moving into another Pokemon that got a buff, which is Dusknair. Dusknair got Astonish last season, and then this season, they buffed Hex, and this thing learns Hex, and then they gave it Dynamic Punch, and then they buffed Dynamic Punch. It's a 45 energy move. So Dusknair is kind of the go-to, I would say it's the go-to Ghost, because the problem with the other ghosts is like they get destroyed by normal type, but not this ghost. This ghost has Dynamic Punch and it's Shadow, so that means it hits hard. Also, you can run Hex. I'm not sure if it has Hex or not, but if you want to run spam charge moves, you can run Hex. Does it have Hex? It has Astonish. I know that it has Astonish. Yes, it has Hex. I am 100%... Dude, I am always correct, guys. Yeah, it has Hex. So you can run Hex if you want to spam your charge moves. But if you want to run Dusknoir, I would run Wiggly, Dusclops, Dusknoir, and I would use Dusclops to bait out the Dark type, because this thing is so spammy with Hex and Elemental Punches. Or you can just run it with Gastro and Wiggly. And this is probably a tap no skill team. This is literally the most no skill teams. Okay, the team that requires the least amount of skills. Dusknoir, Dugong, and Gastrodon. You just tap your way through victory. This team has actually gotten million buffs. So we have Togetic. What did Togetic get? Well, it has Dazzling Gleam, which got buffed, and also it got Psywave, which is at one of the best fast moves right now, if not the best one-turn fast move. That's all I can say. So I want to run a team with Togetic, and I was like, there is a Pokemon I forget to add, and that Pokemon is, I kept looking, looked like there is a Pokemon, because this Pokemon was so good in the Retro Cup last season, because it was the only Pokemon that can break the core of Drifblim, I think Drifblim, and no, what was it? The monkey. Oranguru and Cresselia. Nothing can break that core, right? And then people like start bringing Ferret because it has Sucker Punch and does super effective to both. Now this season they also gave it a Swift, the best normal type charge move. So now it has a Swift and the Trailblaze. We will talk about it in the next slide. But this team, if you want to run Ferret, if you run Togetic, I would run either of these teams. Again, this is a team that requires some skill. This team requires much less skills. And this is the... I was like here talking about Ferret, but hey, this is the Ferret team you guys all want to see. Ferret Double Charm. Ferret Double Charm. This is the new Toxic team, okay? Guys, if you need a Toxic team, this is the Toxic team. This is the move. Sucker Punch with a Swift Trailblaze. Buff your fast move, and then start doing much more damage with Sucker Punch. Or you can just replace one of the Charmers with Claydol, and then you would have, like more of an ABC team. Now let's talk about some teams that are still good. This team is still goated. Azu's even better now, because there is a thing about Azu, is that Azu's last season was slightly worse because it lost to Corsola. Now Corsola is just bad. So this team is much better. You could replace this with Sableye, and you will have Azu double dark. This team, the team I hit Legend with, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, this is not as good. So I think I'm just going to replace this with Sableye. And that's pretty much... No, we have some teams here. Like this team kinda good. This team is kind of everywhere right now. Jumpluff with Corsola and Serperior or Primeape or Anihilape. But I think you just replace this with Sableye. So Sableye will just take Corsola's spot. Malamar, Dugong. I mean, this team is actually still goated because Dugong is too good of a Pokemon. Malamar is still a beast, and Talonflame is still a beast. And for the Azu, I think I made a Legend team about this by the bassist. Again, you just run Azu here, like literally. And that's pretty much it for this week. I will make another top teams video at the end of before the next week, another version, because I'm expecting to see more of a shakeup, because we have to still wait and see how people will react. So yeah, how do you guys like the new format of having one featured Pokemon and two teams about it? Do you guys prefer this one or this one? Please guys let me know in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys get all the milestones you want to get for the new season. Best of luck with the new season, and thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video if you like the content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.